Good evening, and welcome to a meeting of the Chesapeake School Board. Our printed agenda is available in the back of the room if you wish to follow the business items we'll be discussing this evening. Roll call, Dr. Smith.
Mr. Elijah Colon.
Here.
Ms. Malia Huddle.
Here.
Mr. Mike Lamonia.
Here.
Mr. John McCormick.
Here.
Mr. Norman Poole.
Here.
Dr. Amanda Quillen.
Here.
Mrs. Amanda Walker.
Mrs. Walker is absent this evening.
Mrs. Kim Scott, Vice Chair.
Here.
Mrs. Angie Swigert, Chair.
Here. The next item is the adoption of the agenda. Does the superintendent or any board member wish to add or delete an item from the agenda?
Madam Chair, no amendments to add to the agenda, but we will need a closed session as required for personnel matters and legal matters.
I'll entertain a motion for approval. Moved by Ms. Scott. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Colon. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
We will now go into the closed portion of our meeting. I'll ask Vice Chair Scott to read the language to take us into closed session.
Chair Swigert, I move that the board should convene in closed session pursuant to the Code of Virginia, Section 2.2-3711, subsections A1 and A8 for discussion and consideration of personnel matters, including administrative appointments and the performance of specific employees and consultation with legal counsel regarding specific legal matters.
Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Lamonia. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
Before we move into closed session and in accordance with Bylaw 2-33, we will need a motion to approve the remote participation of Sands Anderson attorney Nikki Chook, who will join us for the discussion in closed session. I'll entertain a motion made by Ms. Huddle. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Ms. Scott. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
We are now in closed session. Vice Chair Scott, would you please read the statement to bring us back into open session?
Yes, Chair Swigert, I move that the record shows that the only items discussed in the closed meeting were those specifically cited in the motion to convene into the closed meeting and those lawfully exempted from statutory meeting requirements.
Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Mr. Lamonia. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
Dr. Cotton, do you have any items resulting from closed session?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I have the following administrative appointments that are submitted for school board approval. Ms. Kelly M. Tisdale from Project Manager, Department of Technology and Innovation, to Director of Enterprise Systems, Department of Technology and Innovation, and Mrs. Marcy A. Huff from Supervisor of Exceptional Learning and Department of Exceptional Learning to Assistant Director of Exceptional Learning in the Department of Exceptional Learning. With your approval, I'd like for these folks to start as early as tomorrow.
I'll entertain that motion for approval. So moved. Moved by Ms. Scott. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Poole. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
Next, I will entertain a motion regarding the appeal under School Board Policy 5-12.
In regard to the appeal of superintendent's decision pursuant to School Board Policy 5-12, I move to support the recommendations of the superintendent.
Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Ms. Scott. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
There being no additional items resulting from close, we will move on to the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. At this time, I'd like to call upon Pastor Brunson from Liberty Live Church, who will give an opening invocation. Afterward, I'll ask Yoshi Ramdeen, a 5th grader from Crestwood Elementary School, to lead us in the pledge. Please stand as you are able.
Let us pray. Dear God, we love you. God, we thank you so much for today. God, we thank you so much for the men and women here who are dedicating their lives and dedicating their time to the investment in the next generation. So God, I pray that you would continue to give them, God, just an overwhelming amount of the fruit of the Spirit. God, I pray that they would go to you and ask for wisdom and guidance in this time. God, I thank you so much for, God, just the ways that you continue to show us that you love us. God, I pray that today as we come to the school board meeting, God, I pray for wisdom for everyone here. God, I pray for clarity. God, I pray that, God, you would be glorified in this time. God, we thank you so much for the fact that you love us so much that you would send your one and only Son, Jesus, for us. God, I thank you so much for the fact that because of what Jesus has done, the life that he lived, the death that he died, and the resurrection that happened 3 days later, we can be reconnected with you forever one day in heaven. So God, I pray that you would just fill this place. God, I thank you so much for your Holy Spirit. God, I pray for guidance, for wisdom. God, I thank you so much for these men and women and all that are present. God, we love you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much to Pastor Brunson and to Yoshi and your mom and your Principal Gould for being here with us tonight. We hope you all have a great evening. Next on our agenda tonight is the reorganization of the board. I will ask the superintendent to assist with this portion of the meeting. Dr. Cotton?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the board, bear with me. I do this once a year, so hopefully I'll get it right. The Code of Virginia calls for each local school board in the Commonwealth at its annual meeting to elect officers. School board policy calls for the superintendent to preside during this portion of the meeting, dealing with the election of the chair and vice chair. It is my pleasure to perform this duty. At the conclusion of this election, I will then turn the meeting gladly, happily, over to the newly elected chair, who will continue with the reorganization of the board. To begin, I will quickly review our process for elections. Each office will be voted upon individually. We will start with the chair, then move to the vice chair. In order to be placed before the board for consideration for an office, an individual must first be nominated by a fellow board member, and the nomination must receive a second. Once all candidates for that office have been nominated, the board will vote for the candidates in order of the nominations by a show of hands. Does the board have any questions about the process before I begin? All right, that's good news. So let's begin with the election for the chair. Are there any nominations for the office of chairman of the Chesapeake School Board? Madam Chair.
It is my honor and pleasure to nominate Kim Scott as chairman of the board for many reasons, just a few of which I'd like to highlight right now. The role of chair is not a power position, it's a responsibility that requires a personality that is keenly aware of the complexities of navigating the challenges of 9 strong personalities who may have the same goal but not always the same approach to solving the issue at hand. Our chair should be one who's not only aware of that responsibility, but embraces it with respect to all 9 members, and is skilled in ensuring that all have their voice while keeping an eye on both the short-term and long-term goals. The chair holds the same responsibility to our community to lead our meetings with transparency and sound judgment, and in a way that welcomes partnership with our families, our administration, and our staff. I have worked closely with Ms. Scott over the last year in her role as vice chair, and I am entirely confident that she is the right person at this time to step into this role. She possesses all of the qualities I have mentioned and much more, and for that and many more reasons, I enthusiastically endorse her nomination.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kim Scott has been nominated for chair. Is there a second? Okay, I see a second. Mr. Colon?
Yes, I'd like to take a brief moment. Angie, that I couldn't have said it any better. I've worked with you for a year, Kim, and I can honestly say your heart that you have for the children of Chesapeake is very strong, and I know that you'll stay praying continuously and looking for discernment as you choose to make decisions, so I'm gladly second that.
Okay, with that, are there any other nominations for the office of chairman? Okay, hearing none. And without objection, nominations are closed, and we will move on to the vote. All of those in favor of Mrs. Kim Scott as chairman of the Chesapeake School Board, please indicate by a show of hands. Okay. All right. That looks unanimous. All right, Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes. Congratulations.
I'd like when things go smoothly. All right, so with that, with that, let the record show that Mrs. Kim Scott has been elected as chair and will serve in this capacity through December of 2026. Congratulations, Madam Chair. Okay, at this time, are there any nominations for the office of Vice Chairman of the Chesapeake School Board?
I'd like to make a nomination.
Sure.
I'd like to nominate Mike Lamonia. I didn't know I needed to prepare a speech. Nobody told me this. So Mike's a great guy. We joined the board together and ran for office together, and we're fellow Western Branch neighbors, don't live too far apart. Hopefully Mike can keep Kim in line. I think he can. But he would serve valiantly as vice chair, so I nominate Mike for it.
Thank you, Mr. McCormick. Is there a second?
I'd love to second that, sir. Mr. Lamoni's going to do a phenomenal job. He really has his act together and really has a care for the children of Chesapeake, and I think he's going to do phenomenal.
Thank you, Mr. Poole. Mike Lamonia has been duly nominated and seconded for the office of Vice Chairman. Are there any other nominations? Okay, hearing none, and without objection, nominations are closed, and we will move on to the vote. All of those in favor of Mr. Mike Lamonia as Vice Chairman of the Chesapeake School Board, please indicate by a show of hands. Okay, it looks, Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes. Congratulations.
Thank you. And let the record show that Mr. Mike Lamonia has been duly elected as Vice Chair and will serve in this capacity through December of 2026. Congratulations, Mr. Vice Chair, and I'm so happy to now pass this responsibility on to our new chair, and we'll take a brief recess so that we can all shuffle around in our seats. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you. Now that everybody has their seats, before I get started, I just wanted to say a couple of brief words. It's one of the greatest honors of my life to have been elected to the Chesapeake School Board and to represent Chesapeake families. And tonight I am incredibly humbled and grateful by the confidence placed in me by my colleagues. And I look forward to working collaboratively together to support our students, families, and staff in the year ahead. And I also want to express my sincere gratitude to Mrs. Swigert. It has been an absolute privilege to serve as her vice chair and learn from her leadership. She led this board through unprecedented situations and navigated controversy with grace. This past year, Angie was more than just a chairwoman to me. She became a trusted friend, and I am forever grateful for her. And I have full confidence that Mr. Lamonia and I will take the torch and continue onward and upward. So without further ado, we'll continue the meeting. All right, so thank you, Dr. Cotton. To continue the reorganization of the board, or not the board, but to continue our reorganization, I will entertain a motion for the appointments of clerk, deputy clerk, agent, and deputy agent. Is there a motion?
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Lamonia, sorry.
So, Madam Chair, I move to appoint Dr. Angela Smith as clerk, Mrs. Darlene Gorman as deputy clerk, Dr. Jared Cotton as our fiscal agent, and Mrs. Melissa Glott as the deputy fiscal agent.
Is there a second? Second. All right, so the motion has been made by Mr. Lamonia and seconded by Ms. Swigert. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith?
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
Wonderful. There being no awards and recognitions this evening, we will move on to the hearing of citizens. Dr. Smith, are there any citizens who have requested time to speak this evening?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have one citizen requesting time.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. During their allotted time, speakers should observe our rules of decorum and know that expression of concerns and criticism on matters of school policy and operations is welcome. However, speakers must deliver their own remarks and may not play pre-recorded messages. I want to thank those speakers who signed up to address the board this evening. As a reminder, there are 2 ways that citizens can request time to speak at the meeting. You can call the clerk's office between 12 p.m. the day of the meeting, or sign up to speak prior to the start of the meeting. All in-person requests to speak must be submitted to the deputy clerk 5 minutes prior to the published meeting start time. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the board. Once your allotted time is over, we ask that you promptly exit the podium. We would also like to ask that you refrain from any behavior that disrupts the meeting, including the use of profanity, applause, cheering, or jeering. Dr. Smith, please call the first speaker.
Yes, I'd like to welcome speaker number 1 to the podium. Please state your name and city of residence before you begin.
Chris Rickard, 23322. So I got 2 kids in the Butts Road schools. So, Ms. Scott, I know why you're the chairman now, because you're the only one who responded to my email. I emailed all of you. You're the only one who responded. Ms. Joppy, thank you for the phone call prior to Christmas break. I'm here to talk about the test. So my child's a 5th grader. He can't get his test. How do we get the test? I can see the score. They get 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, but how do I see the test? I was told Mastery Connect. The principal sent me some information, still doesn't work. The principal's having a hard time with Mastery Connect. So if the principal of the school is having a hard time, how's a 5th grader supposed to do this? So I challenge you guys, find an elementary student, an intermediate student, ask them to open up a test for you off Mastery Connect. See if they can do that on the spot and see what the outcome is. Because right now, I can't see where my kid is struggling. I've hired a tutor, they're a Chesapeake teacher, they can't see where they're struggling. So how do I fix this? And that's why I'm coming to you guys, because I've tried other ways, and the school board's the only way I got left. So I challenge you guys with that. There is no 4th grade, 5th grade test score underground, I'll tell you that. We're not trying to, build the scores up. However we gotta do it, I need help. So my information's out there, please somebody help us. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you for your time.
This concludes our speakers for this evening.
Thank you for sharing your comments. Our practice is to receive information. However, we do not usually engage in dialogue, and that is our intent tonight. If appropriate and not already provided, someone from the superintendent's staff will evaluate your concern and provide a response. We will now consider the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion for approval. All right, moved by Ms. Weigert. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Mr. McCormick. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present, voting yes.
Moving on to the information agenda, the only item is the governor's budget update. Mrs. Glad.
All right. Good evening, Chair Scott, Vice Chair Lamonia, and school board members. This evening, I will provide a general overview of the state budget process, followed by a summary of the governor's caboose and biennial budgets. Finally, I'll review the impact of his proposed budgets to CPS based on the details shared with us from the VDOE. Let's begin with a quick overview of the state budget process. Virginia operates on a 2-year budget, and it is updated every year. The update begins in December when the governor presents a proposed budget to the General Assembly for review. The focus of his proposed budget is dependent on whether it is an even or an odd year. In even years, the governor provides proposed amendments to the second year of the current biennial budget. This is known as the proposed caboose bill. He also provides a proposed budget for the upcoming biennial. In odd years, the governor provides proposed amendments to both years of the current biennial budget. Once the governor releases his proposals, they are reviewed by the Senate and the House of Delegates. They can accept or modify the proposals further. Once the 2 chambers reach agreement, the governor reviews the General Assembly's modifications and either approves them or makes further changes. This process continues until all parties reach an agreement on the proposals. Since we are in an even year, on December 17th, Governor Youngkin released a proposed caboose bill for fiscal year 25-26 and a proposed budget for the 26-28 biennial period. Let's take a look at the governor's recently released proposals. His caboose bill for fiscal year 25-26 includes technical updates to adjust for costs, inflation, and enrollment for direct aid, categorical, incentive, and lottery programs, and it reflects updates to sales tax revenue. It also includes a one-time bonus effective June 1st, 2026, equivalent to a 2% average of base pay for funded SOQ instructional and support positions. Greater information on the distribution and flexibility of this bonus from the VDOE is anticipated to be provided soon. In reviewing the impact of the caboose bill, we also considered declining enrollment. Last month, I reported that our fall ADM was 39,497, which is 403 fewer students than we assumed for the budget. Unfortunately, enrollment has continued to decline since October, and we do not expect for it to increase by March. For this reason, our revised ADM estimate is 39,347, which is 553 students less than planned. Using this revised estimate, the resulting projected state revenue for the current fiscal year is approximately $377 million, a $4.4 million decline in comparison to the budget. The state bonus of $3.9 million is offset by the 553 decline in ADM and a $3.3 million reduction in special education regional tuition. The decline in special education regional tuition is because of a change required by the state in how we calculate the cost of students with intensive support needs. This change negatively impacts state revenue for special education regional tuition. The proposed caboose bill's technical updates reflect this change for the first time to our state revenues. As a reminder, the final state revenue will depend on March enrollment numbers. Now, let's take a look at Governor Youngkin's proposed biennium budget for 2026-2028. This proposed budget was built using the fiscal year 25-26 budget as its foundation. Cost updates and other adjustments for SOQ and direct aid programs such as salaries, inflation, SOL test scores, and enrollment are then applied. The budget also includes a recalculation of the local composite index using 2023 data for income, retail sales, and the true value of property from the Department of Taxation. CPS's LCI decreased slightly from 0.3273 to 0.3209. This is good news for CPS as it means greater state funding in the biennial period. Benchmarking of costs, technical updates, and the recalculation of LCI reflect the cost of keeping current programs running and do not include any policy changes. The proposed budget uses new estimates of sales tax revenue for public education and projected lottery revenues. The budget also assumes lower VRS employer contribution rates. Last but not least, the budget includes a 2% salary adjustment effective July 1st, followed by another 2% adjustment the following year for instructional and support staff. The governor's proposed budget results in $390.2 million in fiscal year 2026-27, which is a $9.1 million increase in comparison to fiscal year 25-26. The ADM assumption is 39,245, and it's based on historical enrollment trends. The ADM decline of nearly 655 is more than offset by the compensation supplement, favorable changes in LCI, re-benchmarking of costs, and technical updates. As for what's next, the House of Delegates and Senate will begin reviewing the governor's proposals when they are back in session on January 14th. They will remain in session over the course of the next 60 days. It is important to note that the governor's budget proposal is not final and will likely undergo changes given the changes in governors. At Chesapeake, our next steps are to finalize the superintendent's proposed 26-27 operating, categorical, and special funds budgets, which will be presented to you on February 9th. Thank you guys for your time this evening, and I'm happy to take any questions you might have.
I don't see any questions. Thank you, Mrs. Cloud, for your time tonight. We will now move on to the action agenda. The first item is the appointment of board representatives. Annually, board members are appointed to various bodies where the board member represents and acts on behalf of the school board. A copy of these appointments is available in board docs for review. Are there any questions about the proposed appointments? All right, I'll entertain a motion for approval. So moved. Moved by Ms. Huddle. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Cologne. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith?
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
The last item on the action agenda includes training opportunities from the VSBA. Dr. Smith?
Yes, thank you, Chair Scott. Rolling off the tongue. So close. I have two opportunities from the VSBA to share with the board tonight. First, the Virginia School Boards Association is hosting its annual Capital Conference on January 26th in Richmond. If there is any board member who would like to attend this opportunity, please raise your hand. Okay, seeing none, I'll take a look at the second opportunity. The Virginia School Boards Association is also providing an orientation for any newly elected school board members and officers. These training sessions will be held on January 27th in Richmond. Is there any board member who would like to attend this opportunity? I see Dr. Quillen has her hand. Okay, I will need a motion to approve the attendance of Dr. Quillen.
All right, that's moved by Ms. Huddle. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Mr. McCormick. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Dr. Smith?
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes. Thank you. This concludes my item.
Thank you. There being no additional items on the action agenda tonight, we will move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Cotton.
Thank you, Chair Scott. I even thought about it before I said it. Chair Scott, thank you. We'll get this down. Had a few announcements this evening before I go into my spotlight. The Virginia School Principals Week is this week, so we're all very excited celebrating our principals all week. So you're going to see lots of announcements throughout the week. So do thank our principals because they do such a good job each and every day. Also, I want to remind everyone that Martin Luther King Jr. Day is January 19th. All schools and offices will be closed. And just as a reminder to the board as well as our community, we're looking forward to traveling to Richmond with many of you when we will be meeting with members of the Chesapeake delegation on January 21st. This is a great opportunity for the board to discuss legislative priorities with our representatives up in Richmond. So looking forward to that trip. Now on to our spotlight. Happy to celebrate lots of great things going on in our school division. I hope everyone had a great winter break with their family and friends and that everyone got some much needed and well-deserved rest. I'm excited to share some of the exciting things that have happened in our district recently, including a few that happened just a few days before the holidays. To start tonight, I wanted to give you my congratulations to Mrs. Katrina Smith, an English teacher at Western Ranch High School, for being named as the Citywide Literacy Teacher of the Year by the Chesapeake chapter of the Virginia State Literacy Association. Congratulations to Mrs. Smith on your award, and thank you for being so dedicated and passionate about literacy education. We couldn't be more proud of you for this amazing accomplishment, and we are so grateful for you for all the wonderful reading teachers who represent Chesapeake and all the wonderful reading teachers who represent Chesapeake Public Schools. Oscar Smith High recently celebrated a big accomplishment for some of their former students. International Baccalaureate students from the class of 2025 returned to Oscar Smith High School for the awarding of the IB diplomas and certificates. These students completed a rigorous course of study and completed comprehensive exams in order to earn the distinction of IB graduate. Thank you to Principal Paul Joseph and Oscar Smith High for hosting our graduates and their families. Congratulations to our 2025 IB graduates on your incredible accomplishment. Before the break, we celebrated an important milestone with our newest school. December 18th was the official dedication of the brand new Crestwood Elementary School. The new school represents the very best of what's possible when a community works together. We are proud of this beautiful state-of-the-art facility with cutting-edge technology and an innovative layout designed to inspire learning and collaboration. Special thanks to Heartland Construction, Dills Architects, our planning, transportation, engagement, communications, and new construction departments, and all the people who've played a role in making this new school a reality. I'd also like to thank the students, teachers, and community members who joined us to celebrate this milestone. I wanted to thank the Chesapeake Public Schools Educational Foundation for providing some magic to 26 of our educators just before the holidays. The foundation spent a few days traveling to schools to award instructional innovations grants. Schools and classrooms received funds for their new and creative instructional efforts, including STEM projects, reading materials, drones, journalism equipment, and other school projects. Thank you to the Chesapeake Public Schools Educational Foundation for funding these outstanding opportunities in our district. Take a look at some of our winners.
Congratulations! Oh, yeah! You're a winner! Well done, Mr. Crowley. All right, thank you.
Put it up in the classroom. All right.
Congratulations. That's awesome. We can't wait to hear what you do with it. Oh, yay! Oh, that's awesome!
Who said what?
Oh, I got it. I've never gotten a big check before.
Bernard just won another big award. So then you can you're the winner! This grant was sponsored by Collins Computer.
This is money that I can buy things for our classroom for you guys to do fun projects.
As you can tell, they were all very excited. And one final item, our district also received an incredible grant recently as the Virginia Department of Education awarded the district with $20 million to fund the replacement of Chesapeake Career Center as part of the Department of Ed's School Construction Assistance Program. The new center will be located on Clearfield Avenue. This investment represents a major milestone for our school district, and I could not be more excited for all the opportunities that will be available for our students. Chair Scott, this completes my spotlight for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cotton. And I think I speak on behalf of the entire board when we share your excitement for that $20 million grant for our new CCC. I wish I could have been there when Dr. Kitchens heard the news. There would have been a lot of screaming and excitement. Last on our agenda this evening is board member items. Does any board member have items to bring before the group? Seeing none, I would declare this meeting adjourned.